Hey friend, it is Kate here. Thank you so much for jumping on my channel and joining me for a class today. Now I have got a super simple 10-minute upper body stretch. This is fabulous if you've been sitting at your desk all day feeling a little hunched over, or maybe in the car for a long period of time. Nothing is too complicated. This is a great, big, easy way for us to show our upper body a little bit of love. So roll out your mat. Let's get started. Find a comfortable seated position on your mat, wherever feels best for you. Maybe you cross your legs like I do. Maybe another position is better. That's okay. But just begin to close the eyes and sit up a little taller, a little straighter. Notice, is it challenging to sit up tall and straight today? Does it feel like we want to hunch over or kind of lean to the side? Not a right or wrong, but just see if you can. Imagine little fingertips holding your ears and pulling your ears straight up to the sky. Notice though, did you just take your chin with you? Keep your chin and your nose pointing straight forward. Belly button pulls up and in. Big deep inhale through your nose. Easy sigh out the mouth. Again, big full inhale. Nice big sigh out. One more time. Let it go. Seal the lips together. Begin breathing through the nose a little deeper. And very purposefully let your shoulders rise to your ears and let them roll down the back. Let them rise up. Let them roll down. Now, eyes can stay closed. Sometimes it just feels nice to move with your eyes closed and really concentrate on how the movement is feeling. But if you want to flutter your eyes open, that's okay too, no big deal. And start to roll the shoulders in the opposite direction. And even though it's just a simple shoulder roll, for me, the more I very purposefully move and very actively imagine trying to reach my shoulders in all directions, the better this feels for me. Now take all the time you need, but eventually pause, and then I just want you to reach your hands out in front of you. Imagine I gave you something heavy to hold on to. Give it a big squeeze, turning on your upper body a little bit. And all we're going to do is a simple shoulder protraction and retraction. I want you to reach the shoulders forward without letting your head or chest move, and then pull the shoulders back. So it's kind of the opposite of what I usually like us to do, which is never caving the chest in. But here, this is about moving in our upper body, finding that nice movement through our little shoulders. Every time I pull the shoulders back, I imagine trying to almost wrap my shoulder blades, the tips of them anyway, in towards the middle of my body, in towards my spine. Now, one more time, in and out. And then pause here. Sit taller, sit straighter, take a big inhale. Inhale, reach the hands as high as you can. And then circle them back behind you and bring them forward again. Hopefully you don't run into some plants there like I do. Or if you do, not the end of the world. At least you like little plants like I do. A couple of times. I suppose if I could just teach out in the middle of a lovely garden, I would, and I'd hit all sorts of plants and daisies and flowers. But it's a little hard to film outside. The weather can be a little unpredictable, so inside it is for me. And then all I want you to do is start reversing those circles. And again, just like with our shoulders, it's not just about moving the hands in a circular direction, but it's envisioning that you are actively reaching your fingertips to every single corner of the room. Every time I move my hands, I'm imagining someone is physically pulling my wrists as far away from my body as possible. Last time, up and overhead, and then just pause. Take a moment and notice how we already feel. Sometimes just a tiny bit of movement can really help our upper body. Now from here, we're going to stretch our lateral side body a little bit. Reach your hands up nice and high. Rotate your pinkies in. Row a little taller. And then drop your right hand down. Use your right hand as a kickstand. Actively press down into the right hand in the mat and grow higher and taller up towards the ceiling. Now crawl your fingertips away. Notice, are you beginning to lift your left side booty? I hope not. You press that little booty down. It's like someone is physically holding your hip, your leg in place, while you reach up and over. I imagine I'm trying to make my body like a little rainbow, or you can imagine that there's a small fence that you're trying to jump up and over. So it's not just stretching as far to the right as possible, it's lifting up and out of my waist, over, there we go. You might want to drop the elbow down a little bit closer to the mat if that feels good, but only again if we can keep our hip touching the ground. Take a great big inhale here. Instead of coming upright, I just want you to rock into a forward fold. Maybe your forearms touch the mat. Relax the neck and head. And then point your nose from the right to the left, finding a small, little, easy sway, easy stretch of your head side to side. Roll yourself up. Take your left hand down, reach your right hand high, spiral the pinky in, lift up and out of the waist, and then crawl your fingertips away. Do we want to hold here? Can we soften that shoulder down a bit more? Maybe you've got more range of motion. You can crawl further away. You can drop the elbow down. You can stretch as long as you can while we're still thinking about that lovely little rainbow action we're trying to make with our body. And usually one side's going to be a little bit tighter. If that's true here, that's okay. Just enjoy that stretch on its own, wherever that might be. And then exhale around into your easy forward fold. Again, head is heavy. Point the nose left and right. Maybe you nod the head yes and no. See if you can relax the muscles in the back of the neck. And then roll yourself up to a seat. Grab the front of your shins, and I want you to physically press your sternum forward and then round it back. Reach your sternum forward and round it back. Now the next time that you round back, I want you to hold right here. Again, this is a little bit opposite than what I usually say, but tuck your chin deeply into your chest and really think about hugging your legs. It's like you are holding yourself up while someone almost came behind you, grabbed your belly, and is trying to pull you back. While I'm doing this, I'm thinking now once more about the little tips of my shoulder blades, but instead of wrapping them in towards the midline of my body, I'm trying to part them, making space through the back of my body. Maybe you let your head hang a little closer to your chest. Maybe you just hang right here, or you could, again, kind of point your nose right and left, as big or small as you want it to be. And then slowly pull yourself up, pause. Now all I want us to do is lie on our side, and you can kind of lay however feels best, but ideally we're going to stack the shoulders and the hips. And then from here, reach your hand straight out in front of you, lift it up to the sky. Imagine that someone is physically pulling it up. It's like I am trying to make as much space from my shoulder on the ground to the other shoulder, and then all the way up to the sky. Flip your palm so it's facing towards your toes, and then reach your hand nice and far over the head. Hold here for a moment. Imagine stretching long from your left hip through your side body, out your left fingertips. And from here, I want you to start to circle the hand backwards, trying to keep the palm up to the sky. Taking it as far behind you as possible. Reaching the palm up, 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 keeping that little rotation there. My palm is still facing up to the sky as I slowly pull it down towards my hip. Once it hits the hip, it's going to flip. I'm going to carry it forward again. And it's like a little hands on the clock. Once it comes up over my head in line with my ear, I flip my palm up to the sky, and I try and keep my palm up to the sky as I reach the hand back behind me, taking it as far away as possible. Now again, once the hand comes down to the hip, flip, and then reach it forward. Once it's up by your ear, flip it up to the sky, and then carry it back. Now, if you want to, you might stay with your hand straight back behind you. I almost envision that I'm holding onto something heavy, and it's like that heavy object is trying to push my hand down. If you start to roll a little bit looking up to the sky, that's okay here. You might even be able to soften your shoulder onto the mat, opening up across the front of your chest. Notice, do you want to pause here for a minute? I like to envision that someone is holding my shoulder and lightly pushing the shoulder down so I can make that space. Obviously, I'm getting a lovely stretch across my chest, but I'm also getting a great big twist through my torso. Now eventually take the hand back down, stack, reach it up, take that nice little stretch right there, and then we'll do that on the other side. So go ahead, make your way to your second side. And just like we did on the first side, you can lay however you want to, but ideally we are stacking the hips, the shoulders. We'll start with their hand out in front of us, wrap the shoulder blade in, lift out of the waist. Even here we can think about our posture, and then take the hand up overhead. Stretch long from your shoulder on the ground to the opposite shoulder, all the way up to the sky. And then swim your hand up overhead and find the length from your right hip through your side body, out your right hand. Flip the palm up to the sky just like we did on the other side and begin to circle the hand back behind you. Now we will all have a little bit of a different range of motion, so you might look a little, not quite the same as I do, and that's okay. Remember, when it comes down to your hip, we flip so the palm is facing down. It reaches forward facing down. Once it comes up overhead, that's where we flip and we stretch it around. Hopefully you have more space behind you than I do. I did not plan very well. That's okay. And just go ahead, find those circles. I am still imagining trying to reach my fingertips to every single little corner of the room as far away from me as possible, just enjoying that movement, that range of motion I can get in my upper body. And it's like little hands on a clock, circling, circling, circling. You can go as fast or slow as you want to. Once more, if you want, you can hang here with your hand straight back behind you, imagining you're holding something heavy in your hand and it's pushing your hand down. It's rolling your right shoulder down. It's slowly making you look up to the sky so you can find that lovely twist and that deeper stretch across the front of your chest. Now, I will admit this feels oh so good to me, and I could hang out here a little bit longer if you want to. You absolutely can. Remember, it's all about listening to your body, finding what works for you, but you can also take that hand back down, and then once more, reach it forward, pull it up, wrap the shoulder blade in, maybe take one more stretch of your hands overhead, and let that go. Push yourself up to a seat. And take a moment here. Sit up taller and straighter again. It's a little bit easier for us to have that posture than when we first started off class. Again, sometimes it just takes a few moments of our day to really give ourselves a little extra love and attention and notice what a great big change small movements can do. So as always, pat yourself on the back. Thank yourself for doing something so good and just for you. I certainly hope you enjoyed our lovely 10-minute upper body stretch, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.